Hello everybody and welcome to Bitcoin Predator. And today the biggest questions that we have is what is going to be the price next move? We just hit the supply zone, all-time high, and after that it seems like we are about to pull back, right? So as you can see right here on the chart, since the beginning of this bull run, I noticed there is a uptrend consolidation with a couple of liquidity sweeps on the way up, and then after around 14 days another breakout, consolidation to the uptrend, breakout, and we are finally here at the all-time high. But here is the thing, you can see right here that we have a couple of liquidity sweeps and it has been respecting the 14 days consolidation, but right now after the last breakout it seems like we got a huge candle back to the downside, and now everyone is wondering, is this the end of the bull run or just a pullback, and how much this pullback is going to be, right? So as you can see right here on the 4-hour time frame, we can see that we have a couple of fair value gaps and order blocks that got already filled. The price came back to bring get some liquidity, grab some liquidity, and continue to the downside. We can also see the price that since the end of May of around 21, it has been just grabbing liquidity all the way on the supply zone before taking the next move. But here's the interesting part. If you zoom out a little bit, we had the first 60-day cycle low on April 9, and then we begin the bull run. After that, we kind of have an estimation that the next cycle low is going to be at around the beginning of June, end of May. And I truly think that the price heading down right now, as I forecasted right here, is just a reflection of walking towards that pullback. However, I think this is okay because we're still gonna see the logarithmic phase of Bitcoin during this bull run. So no, I do not think this is the end of the bull run and the price is going to head down, straight down, and then this is going to be the end. No, I don't think so. I think there is just a pullback. So at least on my perspective, my portfolio, no panic, and then we continue going to the upside. However, if I see the price moving below the 93,000, maybe 96,000 level, then I can start to get a little bit worried because there is a lot of volume to break, and that will make the price actually continue to go down. But again, it all depends on the indicators, and according to my Predator oscillator here, we still have a lot of room to go up until we hit the next all-time high. Because as you can see right here from my indicator, we kind of predicted the bottom of the cycle pretty well at around September 22, and the top right here on April 21st of the 2021, right? So I think I developed this indicator and it seems to be doing good. I'm still fine-tuning it a little bit, but it's showing some good signs of the price behavior. We can also see right here on the hash rainbow that it just indicated a buy signal during this run. So yeah, quite frankly, I don't think this is the end, and I also have the bias right here of the global liquidity. So if we take a step back a little bit and check the global liquidity, we are going to see that we might have an actual pullback going on shortly, right? So as you know, the Bitcoin price does not follow the global liquidity like 100%, right? There's some kind of an offset. Sometimes it follows on the 87 offset of days, sometimes it's the 105, 85, it depends, right? But as you can see right here, there is some kind of pullback on the M2 global liquidity before continuing to go up. And that's why I also made my estimation on the purple forecast, which is around 40% of chance, and includes exactly a pretty close approximation of the M2 global liquidity behavior. We also had a kind of consolidation right here at around the 140,000 level and another spike, but we don't know where the price is going after that. Of course, we all expect to continue to go up, but we just don't know. So that's why I forecasted a little bit maybe some consolidation going to the downside. But as you guys know, if you have been following my channel for a while already, you know that I don't like price predictions. I actually prefer position monitoring and risk management. So that's why I forecasted a couple of scenarios here. So although we're still going to have some pullback to the downside, I still believe we are still going to see the best of Bitcoin price over the next months on 2025. However, I still think it is not very possible to have parabolic behavior shortly. You know, I think there's a 20% of chance of that happening, because I still think we are already walking towards that pullback right here, and I think we are going to respect the 60-day cycle low. But what gives me a lot of confidence is the fact that although we have a 60-day pullback right here, this is not going to be the end, because we're still going to have the global liquidity going up. So I don't think this is the end quite yet. In addition to that, we can also see that since the beginning of around April, we can see a lot of inflows from the ETFs, right? So that means that this is pretty much retail cash coming from institutions, right? So there's an institution like big funds, and they have the ETFs, and then we have a lot of cash inflow coming from the retails through the ETFs, right? So that's why I'm quite happy to see a lot of inflows right now. We got the first outflow right here, but it is still just the beginning. Maybe we have a similar behavior to this one. So I still think there is a lot of way to go, right? And it is good the fact that we have a lot of inflow of ETFs coming in. We can also see that because of this pullback to the downside a little bit, we can see that we got 153 million of liquidation just happened, right? So at around this price level of 106,000. But yeah, pretty much all those traders looking for the short-term gains and they hyper leverage right now, they just got liquidated right now. We still have a lot of liquidation right here to the upside, but I believe this is going to also be break and continue to the bull run. And the fact that we got some sort of pullback, it is good. The fact that the fear and greed index got back to the 61 level. So from my perspective, this is good, because it means that we still have a lot of room to grow when it comes to the price, right? I remember that a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago, we were almost reaching the extreme greed level right here on the 80, maybe 76 greed level. But it is good that we are getting back a little bit, and then the hype is slowing down, so then we can continue going to the upside. And the indicator that I think is the most suitable here, we still have a lot of room to go up right here from the NVRVZ score, so nothing to worry about. I think this is not the end of the bull run yet. Plus we can also consider some good news regarding Bitcoin adoption. As you can see right here, just another bank that is going to use and provide Bitcoin and stablecoins for their clients. And we also have the BlackRock, who continues to buy more and more Bitcoin, just like MicroStrategy, right? And we also see that Pakistan, just like in the US, also we see an adoption for Bitcoin reserves from other countries. So just like they said, once the first one starts, then we're gonna get all the others, right? And also lately we have the MicroStrategy just purchase more Bitcoin, and I personally think that the bull run will end because of MicroStrategy. That's right, I feel something's not quite right with MicroStrategy. I think there's going to be some like big crash coming from it, and that's going to drive the price down and end the bull run. Just my feeling, just pure speculation right here, similar to what happened to FTX, but who knows? It's just my opinion, really. Now, if we take a look here at the S&P 500, just like I mentioned on my previous video, there was a upside. The price broke above to the upside on this 5,700 level, and then bounced a little bit, and we are consolidating right now. So it is still respecting my 20% or 40% probability forecast. I think, like I mentioned, I think we're going to bounce up and down in this level for a while, unfortunately, but it is better than the price continue to go down. I would hate this to happen. And I think that a recovery right here, 100% recovery, and the price continue to go up on the S&P 500, it is quite unlikely unless we get a really good fundamental news focus on the long term, right? Which I think is not the case anymore. So yeah, best case scenario, at least in my opinion, during 2025, I think we're gonna see a shy recovery right here of the price on the S&P 500. And as you know, this is actually good for Bitcoin, because when the S&P 500 is performing average, is not excellent, it actually means that the Bitcoin is going to perform much better. But if the S&P 500 performs really good, usually the Bitcoin performs poorly. So let's just keep an eye on the S&P 500 behavior for the next few days. As you know, Trump just got stopped from the tariffs by the Congress. We don't know how this is going to play out over the next few days, but let's just keep an eye. And I think we are going to stay somewhat average, not optimistic and not pessimistic. So pretty much in a sea of uncertainty. This can also be reflected on the dollar. We are still on the risk on level until things cool down a little bit. So investors got the confidence back on the dollar a little bit, and let's see how it's going to play out. Maybe this was just a retest right here and continue to the downside. We can see from the GDP that it is a shy performance of the GDP growth, right? So it's not terrible according to the Fed. So that actually means that the Fed will continue the rates as they currently are. We also have the unemployment rate, which is slowly going back up. We gotta be careful with the 5 level, or because this is pretty much pressure on the Fed to reduce the rates. Let's see how it's going to play out over the next months. And we also have the 10-year yield, which means that it's pretty much the risk of the dollar, right? So we hope that this is going to continue to go down and get some better scenarios over the next few days. And the inflation rate, according to the Fed, they are trying to make this go down a little bit, but it is quite a sticky inflation. Let's see how they are going to behave, which means that there are going to be more pressure on the Fed to reduce the rates. And because of that, who knows, we are going to start to see a bottom of the tiny and start to get some liquidity back in the market. And although the Fed mentioned that they are not planning to cut rates this year, as you can see, the investors still hope there's going to be some rate cuts on 2025. Some honorable mentions that right here we can talk about Ethereum. I'm not a big fan of Ethereum right now because I kind of not believe on the fundamentals behind it. Maybe it was a little bit back ago, but since they decided to change the proof, I'm still not quite confident to invest in Ethereum. I'm not quite ready yet, who knows in the future. But as you can see right now, it broke the level and the change of structure right here on the 2100. Right now it is consolidating. Probably there's going to be some sort of pullback before continue to go up. At least that's what I see right here. We see a lot of liquidity sweeps to the downside. So for those who invest and trade Ethereum, good days. The same goes for Ripple. We can see right here that this level of fair value gap was already liquidated, and the price is now grabbing liquidity right here from this order block. I think right now after that, it is going to continue to the upside and provide some good fundamentals for Ripple. I think this is a good coin, and Solana is following a similar pattern. Also a fair value gap, liquidity sweeps all the way down, and then probably continue to go up. So this is pretty much it what I have, guys. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if you think this is going to be just a pullback and continue to the upside, or maybe this is actually the end of the bull run. Just let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.